Alright all, and welcome back to another video, and we will be covering Galway Day 5 and glorious Goodwood Day 4 in this preview video again. I'm very sorry for the lateness, as I've been saying in every video. It's just quite tough at the moment, so I'm recording this at 10 to 10, so when it gets out to you guys I'm not sure, hopefully maybe by 10:30ish. But I'll be rattling through the Galway card and the Goodwood card where we've got plenty of selections. In regards to today's racing, good old Mogul. I saw a lot of you guys doubting him in the comments. Mongrel's gone and done it in the Gordon Stakes. He wouldn't be out of place maybe in a ledger. He just looks a little slow, to be honest. John Snow won, but as I said, there was a heavy rule 4 off the 2 to 1. Ended up still being a lot better than backing him at 1 to 4 though, after he came out. So, you know, that's I suppose some small bit of compensation for that. And there was a few non-runners at Galway. Unfortunately, when you're doing it the previous day, you never know about non-runners. So I do apologise for that. But we were around even Stevens, today, maybe yesterday if you're watching this on Friday morning. Going into Friday's racing, starting off at Galway with the 2 mile maiden hurdle. 2 horses right at the top, Ngolo for the Richie Mullins Townend combination, and Risk Factor for Joseph O'Brien. And I'm going to be back in Risk Factor in this. 11 to 10 best price. Second at the Galway Festival last year to Russian Diamond, who's obviously not very disappointing, but very unluckily fell in the novice chase today. He won then a bumper at Christmas time, beating a pretty highly regarded horse called Hamunderson for Gordon Elliott, and then he obviously went on to come second in the Dublin Racing Festival behind Appreciated. He's got rock solid chances in this. He's got form in the book, unlike your one Ngolo, and he's going to be the one I'm going to be siding with. The 5:15 is a 2 mile handicap hurdle, and a horse I backed earlier in the week. I'm going to have another chance on here, Mazzaro, for Tom McCord and Darragh O'Keefe. Same connections as I backed them earlier in the week. 16 to 1 this time out. He was 20 to 1 earlier in the week when tackling 2 mile 5 for the first time over hurdles, and travelled really, really well into the race, but simply didn't get home. Ended up finishing 8th. He's won over this course and distance before. He was in decent enough nick over a mile 4 on the flat before turning to hurdles this year, and hopefully 16 to 1 won't be the worst each way price. The 5:45, another 2 mile handicap hurdle, and one of my absolute favourites in this, the Mouse Doctor. I'm going to be putting him up at 16 to 1. I do think he's actually dangerously handicapped off a mark of 117. He won over in Musselburgh when Tony Martin brought 2 horses over to Musselburgh, him and the bumper horse, that name escapes me. At the moment, he ended up finishing mid-div in the champion bumper. Good Time Johnny it was, and they both were gambled on completely and both won accordingly. And then he came mid-division in the Coral Hurdle at Dublin Racing Festival off a mark of 121. He's now back down £4. 2 fairly nondescript runs in flat handicaps, but flat handicaps haven't looked quite his thing recently, even though he was a good flat handicapper one day. And hopefully there is a big hurdle race in this horse. He'll travel well. He might travel into the race well, and hopefully 16 to 1 won't be the worst price. The 6:15 at 2 mile 7 furlong handicap hurdle, I can't look any way further than my old favourite, Sweet Home Chicago. 16 to 1 for Colin Bowe and Sean O'Keefe. He won so easily at Roscommon when we all backed him over on Twitter. 20 to 1 at Roscommon over 3 mile 1 furlongs. He won with his head in his chest that day. He's been raised £10, which for an 11-year-old is obviously a massive raise. But he won it so easily. He did deserve to go up the ratings that much. He's already got good Galway form in the book. He won a 3 mile conditions race one year. He was second in the Galway Festival last year to I Like the Way You're Thinking over 2 mile 5. If this race is run at the pace I believe it will be run at, I think he'll be staying on really well in 16 to 1. Could be a massive price for the old vet. The 6:45, the 2 mile 2 furlong beginner's chase. My nap of the day in this race is Star Max at 7 to 4. I just simply think this is the race he simply has to get his head in front. I just think if he can't win tomorrow's race, there is something a little bit problematical with this horse. He's being placed in handicap chases over a mark of 132 and 135 this year. 4th in a pretty good 8th handicap chase to Castle Oliver. That was a good race. I was there that day and I backed him each way, and he ran very nicely. He's got all the experience in the book. He should jump well at this stage. He'll come on for his reappearance run and really should be getting the job done. 7-4, the nap of the day. The 7:15 is the Arthur Guinness Chase, 2 mile 6 furlong kind of conditions race. I'm going to be going in here on LiveLoveLaugh. Hopefully keeps his position in the race of 13-2 best price at the moment, with David Mullins retaining the ride, having finished a very nice 6th in the Galway plate when jumping for fun out in front and just getting collared when they turned in and the taps were turned. He obviously might have had a pretty tough race that day, so you never know whether he's actually going to end up, taking part in this race. But it's either that or backing the storyteller or Robin de Forêt, the storyteller who pulled up after a terrible jumping mistake, and Robin de Forêt who finished behind LiveLoveLaugh. So I can't be making any pretty stern case for that. And Mengley Khan, his head is off at this stage. Mengley Khan just, his head is... I don't know where his head is. Sometimes he's in the mood, sometimes he isn't in the mood. But anyway, LiveLoveLaugh usually runs his race second in the Dublin Racing Festival a few years ago to Whisper in the Breeze. Runs well at this type of trip and hopefully can go well. The 7:45 is the Galway Blazers, kind of the consolation race for the Galway Plate. And I'm going to be back in Portmore Lough here, 8-1 off a mark 131. Gavin Bruder takes off 7. He's got brilliant course form, which is always important around Galway. Won 2 handicap chases there last year, having finished a third to Chacun Poursuit in a beginner's chase when Chacun Poursuit won at Naas. He was third in the Troy Town before then falling at Leopardstown in one of the competitive handicap chases when still going all right at 2 out. I think he's got still more to come off this mark, even though he's a 9-year-old. He's still lightly raced for a horse of his age. He's a lovely big grey/white horse, lovely jumper, and hopefully can run a big race. The 8:15 2 mile bumper, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. It's Hallowed Star for me at 6-5. Shark Hannon couldn't hold this horse in higher regard, and he absolutely bolted up at Tipperary by 9 lengths, and the 4th in that race, Curlew Hill, has gone on to hack up in a Downpatrick bumper since. He's giving a lot of weight away to Joe Box, who's the second favourite, but Joe Box has looked a little bit of a tricky ride in his bumpers, and Hand in My Pocket didn't quite justify her odds last time, earlier in the week when we backed her. So I'm not sure about some of the form of her or of Joe Box bumpers, and I think Hallowed Star brings the better form to the table, has been bought by the Mees, who love Galway, and hopefully can do the job for the Shark. Over at Goodwood, I'm going to preview 6 races, give you 5 selections if you want to keep around. The 145 is the Oak Tree Stakes horse we napped up a few weeks ago, Valeria Messalina, won the Brownston Stakes at Cork over 7 furlongs. I'll be backing her each way at 8-1 tomorrow with Frankie Dettori taking the ride. Second to Rosa Kildare in the Oh So Sharp Stakes has been franked. This year she didn't stay in the Irish 1,000 guineas before winning the Brownston. I still think there's a lot of improvement to come from her. She gets decent enough amounts of weight off, her main rivals near the top of the market, the likes of One Master and Breathtaking Look. Now, they have much better form in the book overall, but Valeria Messalina, hopefully, this quicker 7 furlongs, I think will actually help her. I think she's a pretty speedy filly and hopefully can go well. The 2:15 is the Thoroughbred Stakes over 1 mile, and this is another one. It's a bit of a steel bull one, I'm afraid. You will be justified if you'd listen to the Racing Central podcast I did on Sunday, because I put up Khaloosy at 7-4 as my nap of the week for Glorious Goodwood. He's now 8-13, so... yes, it is very short. I just think this horse wins. Absolutely hacked up in the Britannia last time out. This is a group horse, a really proper group horse. I really like this horse, and I hope that, the Thoroughbred Stakes can be his first group win on the way to bigger and better things. The 2:45, the Golden Mile, always a tricky race. Hopefully we get a lot of places to play with each way, and I'll be giving a chance here to Willie John at 16-1 each way. He's been gelded since his last run when disappointing in the Royal Hunt Cup, but this was a formerly very promising horse when winning his first 2 starts, and was even second in a listed race as a 3-year-old. So, You're liking to hope that he might be able to run well in a race of this type of nature. As I say, he's maybe been overall a little bit disappointing, but dropping back down to a mark of 100, he's been dropped £4 for that awful effort in the Hunt Cup, been gelded since, and I think there's been, little nibbles and little piranhas of money around for him, 20s into 16s already, and hopefully he can run a race at an each way price. The 315, no point really talking about it for too long. Batash, I suspect, will win. Very short price. Wouldn't be getting involved in the race at all in a betting perspective, but hopefully just watch and hope that Batash puts in another brilliant performance. The 345, the Glorious Stakes over a mile 4. Pablo Escobar for me in this at 11-2. Maybe each way at 11-2. Actually, I think that's not the worst. A bit like Mogul today. It's tricky enough. Will I back it each way? No, scrap that. Let's put Pablo Escobar up 11-2 on the nose. Won a Kempton listed race at the back end of last year. He's been good so far this year. Third in 2 listed races, including the Steventon last time out over a mile 2. When looking maybe a little bit tap for toe, the back up to a mile 4 should suit. He was second to Anthony Van Dyke in a Lingfield Derby trial last year, and this is a pretty good horse. Always runs his race. And finally, the last selection at Goodwood and the last race we're going to cover for Friday's action is the 455, a Fillies Novice Stakes. Not a race I'd usually be having any interest in, but I really can't look past his Ventura Diamond at 3-1. I think John Gosden filly could be very easily taken on, to be honest. Fourth on debut behind Miss Jingles, who's franked the form at Goodwood earlier this week. Ridden along quite a while from home that day and stayed on promisingly over 5 furlongs. So step up to 6 furlongs is sure to suit and should be bang there for Richard Fahey. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And of course, give me your tips, how you did today at Galway and Goodwood, and how you think you'll do tomorrow, and who are you backing tomorrow, so we can all have a look and hopefully share a few winners. And until tomorrow evening, where I'll see you guys again for Galway and Goodwood. It will be the last day of Goodwood, 2 more days of Galway. Hope you stay safe, stay well. I'll see you guys then, and hopefully we can land a few punts. Cheers.